So that puts the Tusk onto the support role, right? There's into the core role. So there's no way he's gonna be support any longer. Neon, they go for the Snapfire Ember. I like this much better than their previous draft, really. And this now puts the Marcy in the core role, most likely in the off lane. Both Hoodwink and the Snapfire go really well with this hero. I'm a bit of a fan when Hoodwink does have that blink stun initiation, but I think Ember is good enough. Sleight of Fist Chains is good enough of a setup for the Hoodwink to dish out the damage.
And every single hero now has mobility and or reach on Neon Esports. Like as passive as the previous lineup was, this one is active. This one, any of these two heroes that you put together, you can cross the distance towards enemies. You can always reach them. You always have damage. And Polaris is responding in kind with some playmakers as well. I mean, Batrider Dark Willow, right, or Tusk Dark Willow, even Rubik Dark Willow. You hold people in place. You get the Bedlam out as a surprising amount of damage every single time. Like it keeps sneaking up on me how much a Dark Willow can do if she just gets to sit on top of somebody with that fairy going around. So they've got some really good combination plays here as well.
The name of the Wisp is Jex. And if you have the Immortal, then the name of him is Gloombob. It says that Jex went on a break and that he recommended Gloombob as a good replacement.
That is so businesslike. Yeah. Right? A scheduled my vacation.
Gloombob is that one that bounces, if you've seen it. Anyways, though, some people pick an Ember into the Bat. Some people pick a Bat into the Ember. How do you feel about this matchup?
How do I feel about the matchup? I would usually err on the side of the Batrider just because the execution is easier. But, this is SCA. If you can get away with the Spirit Hero, then these players will try to get away with the Spirit Hero. So I have no doubt that they're not going to actually try to dodge this Bat on the Ember at all. And you do get like a hero that's good at escaping any lasso attempts later. You do get a hero that is good at pushing out side lanes, which the Bat is otherwise going to use as map pressure against you. If you can get through that laning phase, if you have that confidence, you know what, but go for it. But I would rather be on the Bat side.
That's fine, because it's really weird that we see different approaches from different players, from different teams. Everyone thinks that they're gonna be the ones that beat the Bat, or every Bat thinks that they're gonna be the one that beats the Ember. Usually the one that picks second, from what I've seen, the one that is super confident, I got these guys, does fail miserably. But we'll see if that does happen. So. Neon, what do you get to finish this one off? You need a carry. You are going to be laning against the Tusk Rubik or against the Tusk Dark Willow.
Yep. A lot of kill pressure on that lane, and both of the carries that are in the meta right now that can actually escape from that Tusk have been taken out. I mean, if you're really set on escaping, you could always pull a Hector and go for a Phantom Lancer. Would be nice versus the Batrider as well. Some decent dispels versus the Dark Willow, for example. But I don't think a lot of other people are a fan of the PL right now.
I would love it, actually. It's such a good PL game. It's
phenomenal,
PL.
Right?
Yeah. It doesn't get much better than it. Ooh, Ursa makes sense. You still have Purge for the Dark Willow. Dark Willow hates playing against that. I guess now with the Shard, it's a little bit different. So even if you purge off, you're still getting brambled. But Polaris, they respond to an Ursa with a Weaver. That's a new one. Something I definitely wasn't expecting.
No, but like a hero that can get active early on Akashi, like this is exactly the kind of player that you would want to see try out a Weaver game, So yeah, not quite expecting that at all. Lots of damage outpush. And I guess the catch on Neon Esports, as much as they have of it, a lot of it is dodgeable. Like the only instant stun that you're going to be able to get out is from the Hoodwink. And like I'm sure that as a Weaver you can work around that, especially with Tusk saves on your team.
Yeah, we'll see how it works out. I have seen a couple of Weavers in Eastern Europe. Now he's in Division 2. Shigetsu plays a ton of Weaver, so much that sometimes it is banned out in the first phase. So I know that the hero can work. Heroes of Neon are very low armor and very squishy. So this to me looks like a really decent Weaver game. Plus no super hard lockdowns, right?
Exactly.
So I'm liking it. The only thing I think that they're lacking is tower taking potential. But when it comes to other objectives like Roche, I think they're actually quite okay there.
Yeah, the row should be very good between the Weaver and the Tusk. That is not a problem whatsoever. But yeah, they're going to have to dive towers, and to be fair, so will Neon. Like I don't see much in the way of siege on their side either.
So looking at the drafts right now, any preferences? We both agree Polaris are looking as a better team, but do you think Neon it's gonna be easier for them in this game too?
Yeah, absolutely. They've given themselves plenty of opportunities to actually make plays, to actually have reach. Like Rubik Dark Willow are pretty squishy as supports, and they really only have an instant lift to protect themselves with. So it's very possible to kill the supports first and then go for the rest, which is the way that I think team fights should go right now. It's not going to look as bad as previously, for sure, but Akashi on a Weaver that's going to have both a good time farming as well as a good time killing. Yeah, it's hard for me to not go with Polaris again.
Polaris are looking pretty good. You know, yesterday even when they were playing against Xerxia, I think their drafting was on point, right? Their plays are solid. I can't say that they don't make any mistakes, but it is pretty clean. But their drafts for me have been like pretty nice. You know, there is an idea behind it. But this time around, at least Neon, whenever in the game, even if they're super far behind, they can always make a kill, right? Sharpshooter,
Exactly.
Ursa, Ember. There is potential,
Yeah.
so I'm liking that they have a potential to do that.
Polaris do not actually have like a big responsive lockdown here. Like a lot of these reactive spells need time to wind up from the Dark Willow, from the Tusk. So if this Ursa has a really good game, yeah, you can maul some people. You can get some people down with all of this burst damage, both the physical as well as the magical, before the fight really gets going. And Polaris doesn't have any big tanky boys to put in front to tank up any of that. So, yeah, give me a good game. I think if we look at the first game, and we saved up a bunch of credit points, right, to get like a close game now.
Yeah, for sure, for sure. Though, yeah, excitement wasn't lacking in the previous one because it was all fun, especially for the first 15 minutes. Just there were kills all around. Just kidding, of course. It was very underwhelming for the first 15 minutes. We had like 6, 7 kills all around. But now looking at this game, it does seem like it is gonna be a bit more action packed at the start.
Yep, Marcy Hoodwink lane on the bottom here versus CML is in for a world of hurt as far as I'm concerned.
Don't be like that. Why do you think so?
Why would I think so?
Yeah.
Well, between the reach and the damage, like the Weaver has absolutely nothing to help with. Like he can chip. Like the hope you have here as Polaris is that you can keep them low enough on Tsukimoto and Enryu that one of them is always going to die, or maybe two of them are going to die if they go on your support. But that is pretty unrealistic, as far as I'm concerned. And we have the want on Enryu as well. He knows that there's going to be Sakuchi spam. He's going to know there's going to be spam from the Dark Willow as well.
He did start off with the Ring of Protection of the Dark Willow, so we can expect maybe an urn to come out a little bit later, but that is a good thing to help him, especially against the Blightstone of the Hoodwink. CML even got the Courier, and he has done a ton of damage to Neon, so in the end, the one bringing in the hurt has been CML, not the other way around. But let's talk a little bit mid lane. I think we already touched upon that one in the draft. So top lane, this is the one where a lot of action could be happening as well. The Ursa and a Snapfire. That's a lot of kill potential.
Absolutely, but Tusk Robic is not a slouch either. The thing is, of course, that Fortune Soul with the Earth Shock will usually be able to get out of the shards if he so desires. And of course, there's always that question of Tusk is normally, you're normally locked in there with the Tusk, but when there's an Ursa in there, maybe you are locked in there with him instead. So altogether, like for the lane, this is a really good pick. And I have no doubt that Polaris needs to play this one just a little bit more careful than they would with a normal Tusk Rubik lane.
And Hated is being smacked by the Rubik. Does get the shot off there with the scatter blast, but the Rubik just stands his ground. Is level 2, so you need to be careful. A potential lift and the Tusk coming from the side with the snowball could take your life down. So, for so far, no big actions happening. Mid lane relatively equal in terms of CS, and everyone is farming for now.
Yep. And this Bad Rider, you know, holding the point in the Firefly for now, 2 points up in the Sticky Napalm, so is angling to get a kill here if Ken oversteps.
Oh, okay, I missed that one, so we can get the T-Tours in the chat. It is gonna be a first blood onto the Snapfire. Didn't get the level 2, does get gone on shards, snowball, and that is kind of the only time you get it, because once you get the cookie, it's gonna be much tougher.
Exactly, which is why I think neither of us saw it coming. We're just like, oh yeah, it's a Snapfire, it's a cookie, it's not going to happen. Well, not yet, it wasn't. One more creep would have done it.
And as soon as Hated comes into the lane, Jing God just smacks him back. You know, 200 HP gone just like that. You're going to be needing to use the Tango immediately if you want to keep yourself up there. There are gonna be some attempts here onto the life of Tsukimoto. Okay, it's not only gonna be an attempt, it's gonna be a successful kill with the swarm connecting. You don't go anywhere.
Yeah, and so far my prediction for this bottom lane is completely wrong. I was expecting this level 3 to be a turn for the Hoodwink Marcy with the full arsenal up. But no, instead the Hoodwink finds herself completely separated from the Marcy, and yeah, the Weaver can and will chase you down. He won't never miss much on the lane because of all of the speed that he gets from the Sakuchi.
So let's see now, jump in from NU, and Shadow Realm is going to be protecting the Dark Willow, gets out the hit. Bramble May is not really going to be connecting on anything other than the creeps, so no one is going to be caught by that one. But Weaver is going to be caught by the Bushwhack and doesn't have a Shikuchi for quite some time, so Akashi needs to be a bit careful about what he does, but for now he is going to be okay.
The evasiveness of Polaris really working out in their favor here. I'm very curious to see what we're going to be seeing on this Weaver here. What has their itemization been in Eastern Europe so far? Because you said you've seen it a couple of times.
It usually has been the Maelstrom, right?
Okay, yeah.
I think I have seen both them skipping the boots and going for the power treads. I don't know if it has to do with the meta. Falcon Blade also has been a staple, so I'm kind of surprised that he went double Raid Band. I expected one Raid Band, one Falcon Blade.
Yeah, especially because of the mana regen, right? If you're a Sakuchi spammer, and that is usually the build.
Interesting. So Akashi, with this kind of a start, you know, it wouldn't surprise me if he goes like double Raid Band, Power Treads, Dragonlance. That would be a viable build as well, I think. Because you go full stats and you don't really rely that much on being elusive.
Yep, and it would work really well versus this lineup where the Ursa is not going to be active for a while. We know Akashi, he can definitely come in early and wreak some havoc.
Haven't talked much about the mid lane, where the Bat is slightly over the Ember, but ever so slightly. There was a TP being used by the Ember there. He got the Bat low, but he had a ton of charges on him, so he needed to TP himself out if he wanted to live, and in the end, that's exactly what's going to happen. But this Ember is actually doing quite well. He's going to get level 6. And Akashi, he finishes off Tsukimoto, who isn't doing quite well. The Squirrel is going to be hunted down for the second time. Mid lane, Mac. Almost dying as well, though Ken isn't that healthy. There's no... It was like, who's gonna get a chain onto who faster? In the end, it is gonna be the Bat Rider that gets caught.
And that was mostly about the mana situation. I was watching it for a little bit, and Ken would have had that one in the bag with his earlier 6 if he would have had the mana to actually use his remnants, but he did not, and now no kills for you, Sonny.
But he found the perfect rune against the bat. It is the illusion, so that's gonna be quite nice. Being able to reset the stacks is always nice, meaning that Ken could go a bit more aggressive if he wants to, though he might just use this illusion now so that he does have the mana necessary to continue laning. 2k gold lead Polaris. This time around, they start off with a 3-0, and whoa, they almost get the fourth one. They're TP out from Enryu. Neon, though, this time around on the bottom lane, they do survive. But it is looking like a beautiful start for Polaris.
Yeah, bailing like that is never good news for your lane. At least there's an attempt on... No, never mind. A Bok steps out on the top lane as well. This Ember Spirit is going to be the one making the plays for Neon now, so it's good that he's got... Well, I say that. Never mind.
Yeah, he's in a lot of trouble. He even gets pulled into another Bramble. And that is the thing. You're playing against the Dark Willow. You know, this hero is a bane of an Ember's existence, right? Usually you are happy when there's a lot of units, so you can go for a huge sleight of fist and no one can catch you, but then there's a Bramble waiting for you.
Yep. And it will always be waiting for you. I mean, at least you can dodge the crowns, right? It's not all bad.
Okay, if you say so, but Bramble, terrorize, goodbye Ember.
Yeah. I know. I'm a positive person. How many more times do I need to tell you?
Yes, but I need to match your positivity with negativity. So that's just me being a good colleague here, Kips. It's what we're all about.
We're doing the good cop, bad cop.
Yes, we always do that. Anyway, Tsukimoto is getting gone on. This is a hero that dies super fast, and even with the Brambles not connecting, it is still a kill. Fifth one for Polaris. They're continuing their dominion over the map from the previous game. Sleight of Fist chains onto Mac, hit it, thinking about it, only level 1 cookie. That is not something that is gonna change much.
Yep, and CML and Jinka now both leave their side lanes alone. Both of them very independent, both of them level 6 already, so yeah, I guess the Ursa gets a little bit out of the support being away. He will definitely win the matchup straight up versus Bok if he gets left alone like that, but they're cool with that. And the pressure onto mid. The fact that Ken gets to do nothing, he's low again, he just got back to this lane.
He will dodge the crown. There it is. Going on to CML. Sleight of Fist chase. He is killing CML. He is doing something but dying right after it to the Rubik Zap. Hated. Goes for TP out. There is no lasso. They maybe could have tried to kill that Snapfire, but Mac didn't want to bother. Just wasn't something that he wanted to put his efforts in, and is going to be stealing the enemy bounty there to refill the bottle.
No, and that's pressure right there. That's just a play that a player makes when he's pressured. He feels the need to do something, anything, so he goes in a situation where it's really quite ill-advised.
Yeah. So it is going to be a Maelstrom on the Weaver. Stays with the double raid bans. The only thing he has for mana is the stick. That could prove to be a problem later on, but we'll see. The only hero that is doing well, and he's doing very well, is the Ursa. Fortune Soul is having a great time, especially compared to the other side lane core, which is the Marcy, that has had like the worst game of her life.
Yeah, I really did not expect it to be that bad, but I guess between the Shadow Ram and the Sakuchi, it was just impossible to actually latch on to anybody and deliver the brawling that the Marcy is so famous for.
Ember goes towards top. He still has the chain, so can go for Bok and will be able to dodge the curse trap, but he stuns his Ursa while he's going through that one. Ursa will be fed a cookie. Doesn't matter. You took one for the team, and the shards are just gonna be putting Bok in a position between a Ember and a Ursa, and not a lot of people can survive that one. Neither will he. So the rotation of the Ember successful.
Yep, very important that he chooses to rotate into the winning lane here. A lot of players, when they get behind like this, make the mistake of, okay, well, my Marcy is losing, therefore I need to help the Marcy out. But he correctly identifies that if you actually want to bring down people fast enough, you go into the winning lane, help it win even harder. And this is going to be such a fast Battle Fury for this Ursa.
It's looking amazing, and he has the phase boots. He has the magic stick. It's not like he rushed it with the brown boots. He is looking really good, and we talked about it. Ursa is a great pick in this game. You know, once you get to that Blink Dagger Basher timing, the Weaver, the Batrider, these heroes are in trouble.
Absolutely, and when you get the shard, you're going to get a lot of dispels. I don't want to say for free, but basically for free as well. It's going to be a very good time versus the Willow, versus the Batrider. Very enjoyable Ursa game.
Move from Neon. They want the Bat, but Bat is a flaming piggy that just gets out of that one. So Neon are not going to be catching anyone with this move. Maybe a Weaver is a target, but there is going to be a Bat there as well.
Yeah, I don't know if the Weaver is ever a target. Maybe he will be if he overextends.
Yeah, and could be something that is happening right now. Nope, Andrew removes the bug, and Akashi heavy overextended. Sleight of Fist used, chains haven't been used just yet. They would need the Bushwhack to connect. Not gonna be happening. Akashi is out, so wasn't really that good of a target. The lead of Polaris is gonna continue to increase.
And Ken lost half of his health there, and he barely touched the Weaver.
Dive top from Polaris. They won't hate it. They're going to be needing some help because a lot of TPs are coming in from Neon, but the Batrider has come in as well. They're surrounding Neon here. But let's see. Sharpshooter is going to connect onto the Dark Willow. Nice terrorize. Ursa, though, he's enraged and he wants to fight, but they will kill the Dark Willow. It doesn't matter because the Tusk will be getting out, and Neon, they use so many TPs only for a Dark Willow kill.
Yeah, that is really not worth it. Akashi making some stacks in the meanwhile. That's got the Rubik to help out here as well. It's gonna feel really good. And as much as I said that, you gotta help out the winning lane, that's not exactly the same as responding on a dive with 4 heroes. It's not proactive, that's reactive, and it gives so much space to Polaris.
So smoke is used by Neon under a ward that is just going to expire. So not the ideal scenario. Rubik hiding in the trees, wants to break that one. Dark Willow. CML is going forward rather than backwards. Like wants to take that smoke, maybe break it, but they're looking towards the bat, and Mac knows something is up. He can feel it. No, he cannot feel it. He's going for the farm, and might soon find out that was a bad move.
There is that sharpshooter waiting for him. No, he just...
They're waiting for the snap. They thought they didn't have enough damage, and maybe they were right, but 20 stick charges, 1500 HP. Yeah, they were probably right. Polaris, they go for a very fast move. They are going to be scanned out. So, Neon knows. Hate it. Blink Dagger Lasso. Going to be used. Bushwhack onto 2. Very nicely done. Beautiful. They turn around. Hate it is still alive. And Fortress Soul goes in. He wants to start punching everyone, ripping them apart. Ken gets a double, and they'll get a bonus. CML, he might have been able to protect himself in the shadows for the time being and in the lane, but this time around, the Marcy rebound connects, and the Ursa finishes the job.
Hoodwink is such a beastly counter initiator. It's absolutely insane. And yeah, Batrider should have burnt down the trees some more, because then you don't get bushwhacked like that. But he was actually making that play without the Firefly, I believe. So unfortunate for Polaris. I was going to say, like, well, if Neon makes that plays, at least the Batrider is going to be low. He's not going to go for the fast play in your triangle right now, but never mind. It's great that the Batrider had full status to go for that play. That works out perfectly. Yeah,
for sure. So Mac gonna be continuing to farm. He is going for a Blink 4-stab build. I haven't seen this for a very long time, especially, for a mid lane bat. It has always been the BKB.
Yeah, and it's very interesting to me as well, because right now the only physical damage is actually no, there is a bunch of physical from the Marcy as well, right? I can see why a 4-staff is just very powerful this game, but it's not like the magical damage is negligible this game either.
True. Fortune Soul does have the enrage, not the easiest of targets in the back lines. It is going to be hated, being caught, but Tsukimoto is there to protect Bok. No snowball. Who's going to be hit? It is going to be CML. Goes into the Shadow Realm. Marcy has been stunned. The Curse Crown is there. Terrorized. Not going to be coming out. She's dead. Fortune Soul going for Jing. Okay, he's going to be missing over on that jump. The Ember gets himself out, and this is going to be a very separated fight. Tusk will go with the uppercut punch onto the Snapfire, but the Weaver is finally a part of the fight, and he wants to clean up right now. Doesn't have the ulti any longer. So turning back time, not a possibility. Ursa tries to get back, not gonna be happening. Everybody's dying. Finally, Polaris are gonna start to bring heroes down, and this might be a bonus. Tsukimoto lifted up into the air, put into the ground, and Jing with a kill secure on the Fade Bolt. It is 4 heroes dead on Neon, and Polaris, they only lose 2.
One of those is the Tusk, who finally showed up, but he showed up with a full Guardian Greaves. And the amount of damage that they needed, the amount of attention that they needed to put into him before bringing him down there was really detrimental to Neon's capabilities of actually making anything happen in that fight. Mac double damage, blinks in. Who cares that you don't have a lasso, man? Just kill the wave.
They will probably bring down the tower. Actually, the Ember comes over, wants to prevent this with the siege creep surviving in the next wave of creeps. The tower is dying 100%. It's just a question, can you deny it? Snowball there, gonna be saving himself from the bushwhack. Bok, very nicely done. He will get the shards off, and in the end, the tower gets taken by the siege creep. It is not gonna be denied. Oh, Neon, they continue to lose objectives on the map.
Yeah, they continue to suffer. This Ember Spirit, again, you can see that he knows he needs to do things, but every time he just gets punished so hard. And it's not going to get any better for him either. There's going to be a pretty early Yule Scepter up on his support Dark Willow. If you go in, you're going to get lifted. You're going to end up in the Brambles, in the Terrorize. And you need a BKB. Look at this man.
From one Bramble to another. It is not looking good currently. Dark Willow is not going to be maxing out the Cursed Crown, so doesn't want a shard. Yeah, that's pretty much when you're going for a Yules. This is the build. NU close to the BKB, but so close to death. They know.
He's going to get hunted down in the trees.
Where are you?
Marco.
Yeah. Polo and Hated is dead as well, and that is gonna be 3 heroes. That Mac might be going down with the Earthshock. Ursa does get in range there to finish him off, so the lasso will be broken before it actually expires. Sleight of Fist chains connects. They don't have the Weaver here, so Ursa going forward. Snowball save. Terrorize is gonna be used. Ursa didn't get the enrage off, and he's gonna be running away from a fight. Bears are usually the ones that do want to fight. The Rubik does steal the ulti from the Ember and leaves the Tusk behind. The Am I laning buddy, you die, I live. The Bedlam is gonna be coming out. Gloom Bob, they're trying to do damage, and Akashi finally comes into the fight, but into the arms on the bear, and he's dead. Akashi, he has just joined, like, yeah, I'm here to save the day for Neon, apparently, because that is gonna be a big kill for them.
Let's see good old anti-mage show up, right? Alright, all of the fighting is done. Now I come to clear up the kills. And he gets absolutely squished for his troubles.
Okay.
Deserved, I guess. But that was beautiful play from the Dark Willow, especially. You just separate out that Ursa, send him running back to base. And the Ember Spirit is still so fragile. At least he got a bunch of gold out of this fight, so finally the Emperor will be able to, you know, buy that Ogre Axe if he'd like to get himself a little bit more HP.
What? You buy the Mithril Hammer, you want the damage. Like, what are you even talking about, Kips? There's no way. Yeah. He's not buying
the amount of times that I've seen that. Well, as long as you don't get caught, I guess it doesn't matter, huh?
Yeah, that is true.
There is a BKB on the Ursa right now. So
that is
finally, all of this delay, yeah, all of the Dark Willow spells, Fortune Soul is just going to ignore those. Of course, the problem that he has now is that there's going to be an Aegis on the enemy team, unless they do anything about it right now. Like, Jing is already in the way. It's going to be so hard to get into the pit in time, even though this is a fairly slow Roche.
The bug was taken down, but now another Rubik coming out. Rubik, he broke their smoke. He broke their... Oh, they have another one. Who the hell cares? We are coming over. The Throsh is... Yeah, it is yours, but that's really bad for an Ursa. They are going to be shooting down the Dark Willow, and he does get the ulti onto the Ember. The Ember is dead. Now going for NU. Maybe if you had the extra HP from the Ogre Axe, you would have lived. Hated the Mortimer's Kisses will get the kill, but will be going down immediately afterwards. Ember does have a buyback to go onto his Remnant, but none of the heroes of Neon want to fight Tsukimoto. Oh, please don't kill me. Come on, guys. What's the deal with you? Let me live. Not gonna happen. Polaris are ruthless killers, and they'll get 4 heroes down, get the Roche, and they just lose a Dark Willow.
Yeah, Polaris just get to pick who they want to kill. The fact that the Ursa has quite a bit of network could deal a lot of damage in this game. It would matter if they got to actually hit anybody, but the parts of his team that engage, the part of his team that go in, that make first contact with the enemy, just die as soon as that happens, basically. And then what's an Ursa without a blink dagger to do?
Yes, he can't get on top of anyone. He is gonna have it though. He didn't pop the BKB in the previous fight, so Fortune Soul is still having a solid enough game. Is this the game that he has, right? He is still up there in terms of net worth. Can he win it for his team, considering that they're so far behind?
Doubtful, because I don't see any way that Akashi needs to give him the opportunity to actually win the man fight if it comes down to that. But Polaris can definitely overextend and lose several heroes at once, as we saw during the dive on the triangle before. Like, that scenario can totally repeat, and there's a pretty decent chance that it happens, because Polaris has been very gung-ho about going in, which is the way their lineup plays best.
I like that you mentioned how good of a counter initiation the Hoodwink is. Rubik now has the Bushwhack, so he's very good at counter initiating, and he has a blink and an ether lens. None of those items does the Hoodwink have, so he's a much better counter initiator, whatever you want, than the Hoodwink currently.
Yep, 2 Gil Scepters up on Polaris as well.
That Ember? To be fair, the Ograx wouldn't have helped him this time or the other one.
We're starting to make mouth sounds, Harry. Yeah.
Yeah, luckily the players can't hear us, so they're not gonna be annoyed by it. Enryu, though, has a BKB. Ursa has a blink. Neon are ready to fight. They don't have their Ember. He does have a buyback, so he can join the fight if need be. But in 20 seconds, they're gonna be back at full force. Is this the timing?
This is the only one that you're going to get, so yeah, make it happen. Leverage that net worth. Get that Ursa in.
Let's see. Mac, he does use the illusion, and they jump. We're gonna crush this illusion. Let's go. It's done. It's dead. They do still hit to the Weaver, and the Weaver is coming forward, but he has the Aegis. Even if you kill him once, it's still gonna be a disaster. He might get his ulti off Akashi. There it is, and he is gonna be fine for now. Turns around onto the Ursa, who has been hit by the Bushwhack. Fortune Soul still hasn't popped his BKB, still hasn't popped his ulti, can still fight Bog. Oh, the Curse Crown onto the 2 of them, and now with the Terrorize, Stolen Kisses. You can see green there. Rubik hasn't really brushed his teeth this morning, but it doesn't matter. It's gonna be even better and even more effective than the standard Mortimer Scissors. Fortune Soul did get a double kill there, with Ursa doing so much. Ken getting himself out, doesn't have any more remnants, looks very dead. Slide of his chains. Akashi will lose the Aegis. Ken will lose his life, but the same fate will be upon this Batrider too. It's a 3-for-3 plus the Aegis. Neon have won a fight, actually, Kips, but no, actually this Hoodwink died. No, didn't die. They won the fight.
They did win the fight, with Fortune Soul just sticking on the backline supports, and Ken living after getting chased down all the way from one end of the bottom lane to the other. Yeah, this is probably their best scenario.
Are you seeing this? When Rubik uses the Earth Shock, the Ursa gains the Enrage animation.
Huh. That's... Were you calling Dota 2 a consistent game earlier? Was that you?
Yes, Enryu, he's gonna be consistently dead in this game. And there it is, jumping from the Ursa. He didn't have the shard, and you saw he was red there. So yeah, definitely the case. They do bring down Enryu, but they're gonna be losing the Dark Willow for their troubles. Akashi, he has a bug onto the Ursa. They have the Yules. Status resistance doesn't help against this. And finally, they're gonna bring the beast down. That is the one that they were waiting for, and they'll get the Snapfire to Akashi. Will destroy the poor old grandma as well. And Jing will be the one that secures the kill in the end.
Yeah, but there's a butterfly on Akashi now. I don't actually think that the Ursa has anything to say about that. The scenario will remain Ursa needs to kill whoever he can on Polaris. It's just not going to be Akashi. It's not ever going to be Akashi.
Yeah, the tower is not going to be defended. Tsukimoto hiding in the trees. Does have that plate mail, so Hoodwink, at least she's protecting herself. 28 armor, but who's going to be protecting the Raxes? The Glyph.
The Glyph. A mysterious force from above. Short-lived though. And you don't want to buy back on this Ursa here. Like, you have a BKB available on Enryu. You can do the same old spiel with Enryu going in, attracting all the attention, Ursa jumping the backlines, but you're not going to buy back for that. So instead, their axe is full.
The gold lead continues to increase, 17,000 for Polaris. Neon, even with that fight win on the bottom lane, they still lost the tower. They still have one outer tower that is being so well under vision of the enemies that Polaris, they can go for a play here whenever they want. They see everything.
Exactly. I really don't think Neon is in a position to. Like, sometimes you see these sneaky plays where the hoodwink is right now. You know, filter your team, and no, not they see you. They see everything. This is not the moment to be doing that.
Oh, sentry right on top of a ward. Look at that, and Hayden does take it
Oh
down.
god, we got spotted.
Yeah. Oh, Akashi taking some damage. Andrew, I don't really know what the jump was, but he does give the movement speed to the Ursa. That is going to be expiring now. Guardian Greaves were used, so everyone is going to be fine. Tusk is approaching the Aghanim Scepter. That is another dangerous item for Neon.
You can just kick the Ursa out of any situations where he's not welcome. And alternatively, of course, you can grab a hoodwink and give her the ride of a lifetime.
How do you even play this game as an Ursa against 3 Yule Scepters? Currently there's 2, but there's gonna be the 3rd one on the Rubik. You're the only hero on your side that does anything, and now there's gonna be 3 items that completely counter anything you try to do.
I don't know, you hope that your BKB allows you to kill somebody fast enough. That's literally it. It's sold during his BKB now. As soon as it's over, his game is over.
One hero taken down. There is going to be another one. The supports will die, but one buyback did come out. Hoodwink wants to be a part of this fight. Ken running in with the BKB, but the Weaver packs a punch, and even through that one, the physical damage will be enough for Ken to give up on using this 9-second BKB for anything other than showing it off to the enemies and then running back into the base.
No good jump opportunities for Fortune Soul there whatsoever. He holds his BKB, he holds his Skull Basher. Like, certainly not going to try and get a lucky bash on Akashi and hoping that it all works out. I mean, soon that is going to be his only play though. Pop the BKB, pop the Enrage, pray.
Polaris had a very weird attempt there of taking down this Stinker ward, and they don't manage to do it. The Swarm doesn't give the vision long enough, and then Rubik tried to do it with a Scatter Blast, which isn't a vision giving spell. So the ward will remain there, but Neon just can't stay out of their base for long because of the top lane. The creeps are constantly pushing in.
Dark Willow is going to give it the old college try. There we go. Just put your own ward up.
Yep. We have a Tusk who has, from a boxer, been upgraded to a kickboxer. So now there's gonna be 2 ways of him using his limbs for war, and this one is gonna be quite nice. You know, repositioning people. Lift, lasso, and a kick. I mean, Neon, they can't do anything. And imagine even if Fortune Soul would get the right jump, he's gonna get kicked away.
Yep. I mean, that just means that you have to... I mean, Bok has to be on somebody else already. Ideally on Enryu.
Yep.
But like, you can't make him. You have no ways to make him fight Enryu. This is not an LC. There is no duel. All he can do is jump on him and hope that, you know, the Tusk's fighting emotions get the better of him. It's like, I am the better brawler. Mano a mano. Let's go.
Oh, let's see, nice ward here from Neon. They're waiting for a fight. The transition between the lanes, that is when it's dangerous. Weaver, though, is a hard hero to kill, especially when he has 2 lives. They are gonna jump on him. They take down the tree, and now lift him up. Weaver turns back time, gonna be fine. That's gonna be a dieback, and that is a nice usage of the Dark Will ulti, but they do pop the BKBs in the end still. Now Marcy gets kicked back, and Ember Spirit, where are you gonna run to? He goes in like a man. Let's fight. Yeah, you are not gonna be regretting that one. Mortimer's kisses. Mwah, Polaris. Yeah, Jing will be going down, and they get a nice kiss, and the grandma gets a kick. That's what she gets for sacrificing so much for young'uns, but still in the end, Polaris, they do get the victory. 24,000 gold. This game, it lasted a little bit less than the previous one, but it was no less dominating from Polaris.
Absolutely not. And as much playmaking potential as Neon brings to the table here compared to the first game, like the way that Polaris dodged the fights that they didn't want, and like that bottom lane, I think that Neon had a very different expectations for what that bottom lane was going to be as well. But if your Marcy does not have a game and your Ember is stuck on an island trying to be the only one that does anything, and there's just two supports, one of them on the left, one of them on the right, looking at him like, yeah, you want a rune? You want a rune? What is he going to do?
Yeah, you do nothing really, and that was kind of the story here for Neon in this series. They really didn't do anything to Polaris for the hour and 3 minutes for how long they have been brawling inside of the game. It was Polaris all along. I don't know if you in any of these games saw like, okay, Neon are doing fine right now. In like 2-3 minutes, they're gonna be the ones ahead, because I didn't.
No, absolutely not. Like maybe if they get another couple fights, like the defensive fight that they got in the triangle, like if Polaris for some reason just, A clicks their fountain, but Polaris is smarter than that. They get just because they have the tools doesn't mean that they're necessarily going to be using them all the time. And that really gives Neon no opportunities to actually get the fights that they want.
And with that, we end the first series of the day. But guys, do not despair. There's two more left. The next one is gonna be an exciting one for sure. Team Reaper will be facing off against eHome. And who's gonna be winning that series? Well, we find out after a short break. So stay with us. We're coming back in around 10-15 minutes. And the Dota just continues. So we'll be right back.